So maybe as we waiting for more people to arrive, let's start first by giving you a chance to introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, where you are. What's your background, what brings you to WeChat marketing. Maybe give us a funny story about yourself, something which make you different, or maybe you have a I always like to challenge the speakers about maybe they have a very interesting hobby or a weird passion. Maybe you can talk about this if it's of course not too personal. So Yang Xiao, go ahead. Start moving around. We lose you. We can move you around everywhere.
Sorry, again?
We just try to be static because you kind of moving around.
Like, yeah, I can be like all over the place sometimes. Okay. I understand that.
So go ahead.
I've been here for 18 years. I came here when I was 17 years old and study manufacturing engineering. I think Yunjia is able to understand that, most of the China students come here, everybody study engineering. And I think 99% of absolutely hate it to the core, right, from the day one. Then, but no choice, this is the only way that we can get a permanent residence. So, okay. And then what else? And then I started selling at 45 about 1.5 years ago. And I supposed to go to Hong Kong in April, everything was booked. And but because of COVID, not able to go. Even during the circuit breaker in Singapore, I have sold 25 studios in Asia. I'm very happy about that. And WeChat helped a lot for cracking into the market.
Xiao, you are also a yoga teacher, right? Something that
I used to teach some yoga just for fun, and I want to continue to do that. And I was thinking that I can do that when I'm 50 years old, do something better. And then so when I just graduated, my target was like my full time is finding a good husband. That's the best recurring income I can get. And then the part time is I teach piano for 10 years just to make sure I don't stop to this. And then quickly after I graduate, I met my husband when I was 22, and then I have 2 children. I'm sorted. That's why I'm going for my career now.
Okay,
that's the truth.
That's cool. All right, excellent. Thank you. All right, Jia, go ahead. Yeah, introduce yourself. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, same. Engineering. I spent 10 years in engineering, about telecommunication, microelectronics, nanomaterial, anything, and I get my PhD 2010 from NUS MIT, and after that I do 4 years of financial software to do the derivatives, option pricing, exhausted options, so on and so forth. So I'm specializing in commodity, in FX option and FX derivative. So in 2013, we are doing the flagship project. I worked for Murex at that period of time, the #1 financial software company. So I go back to China, and it's actually a very good, nice experience because I originally from Beijing, and I go back to Beijing, to the headquarters of Bank of China to do the project. So it's quite interesting. I can use the business trip to visit my parents, and I took them to the restaurant, and I found the waitress, when I asked for the bill, they also asked me to scan the QR code to say that you can accumulate your points so that next time you can use it. Okay, I found it very cool. So that is from the WeChat. So I gradually know, okay, this is called WeChat official account. And when I go back to Singapore, I found all the restaurants, they use, paper and chalk. Actually, till now, they're still using it. Okay, yeah. So I found it's very, out of dated and it should be replaced. Okay, this is what what I was thinking at that point of time. But that's why I started to study. Okay, what is WeChat official account? But seriously, I don't have a chance to convince to convince the business holder of restaurant, because that works good. And on one day, my friends in EMBA program, NUS Business School, because EMBA Chinese program is targeting China audience, so they asked me to do a favor to help them to do the marketing in China, because I'm doing engineering, so I'm supposed to know everything about computer, and because reaching computer is by computer or mobile phone, so it's you need to know, and you definitely you know, because you're smart So I thought, okay, look, what did you do? So she said, I use email marketing. I paste the advertisement in the cabin, so on and so forth, do a lot of things, the Baidu SEO. I said, look, Chinese people read the email very less frequent than, the Western world. So you need to do WeChat official account. Okay, so this is the first time I really have a chance to utilize what I observed about WeChat official account. So I start from the US MBA program. And this is why, because they have new demands, they have new requirements, they have new, so I evolved. My company actually evolved with what they need. So it's already 5-6 years. Okay, very long journey already. Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, thank you, John. All right, Kay, go ahead. Keep it short so we can move on to the questions. Yeah.
So about me, from Hong Kong, now based in Shanghai, already been based in Shanghai living in Shanghai for over 7 years. So the funny thing, after I graduate, I guess I first moved to Shanghai, and then I got my, first job, in Shanghai. So it's really, great, explore, all how, and witness the development, when 2013, from back then, WeChat just launched, and then, how it changed the market. Until now, how it evolves all the way. So one thing about WeChat, I remember is now as I live in Shanghai, when I sometimes I work between back and forth Hong Kong and Shanghai. So sometimes when I go, for business trip or go overseas, or when I was in Hong Kong, I always forgot to bring my wallet. So because I'm here in Shanghai, I just bring my mobile, and then with WeChat Pay, and I got all I need, right? But then that's how WeChat changed my life. Yeah, that's a bit about it.
Okay, and the rest is history. Okay, great. Thank you, Kay. All right, so again, if you have any questions for us, go ahead. Feel free to drop a question on the Q&A. Sorry, I'm a bit tired after this long day. And then, or you can also ask questions using the chat box. Now, let me get started by asking you, okay, so we've been through a very interesting time with that all COVID-19 situation the last, it's been what, 6 months now, close to 6 months. What has been the impact of the pandemic? Generally, what have you've been observing on the WeChat and marketing on WeChat? What kind of changes have you seen happening around WeChat in the last 6 months? And share your personal views on this. What have you seen? What are the big change happening?
I think maybe I'll start this first.
Yeah.
So I think with the COVID-19, so there's a a lockdown period, and during that, due to the COVID and the lockdown period, everything basically is moving online. And then basically what happens in that digital realm is the short video apps is really grabbing lots of lots of attention. The live streaming, all these features is kind of getting the attention from the audiences. I think what WeChat has done, definitely they launched the live streaming functions that trying to, in February, when everyone needs to stay home, and then it's kind of a time that they try to push this. And then the retailers, they were originally in paying or in challenge how to brings everything online. So it's how WeChat is shipping, trying to launch the new features to try to help the retailers and also the malls, or even the brands, to bring their business and also that touching points online forward.
Okay. Yeah, but again, yeah, so obviously they were trying to get more of the attention of people who were stuck at home. But those people stuck at home also have the luxury of trying new apps, and there's obviously a lot of competition around, with WeChat. So, they get to try Douyin, TikTok, and, many other platforms which have been popping up in the last year. So then maybe also that was a response of Tencent on this. Yeah, what kind of changes, major changes have you seen happening on WeChat in the last 6 months?
From my side is I think it's solely depends on the industry. Okay, so for most of the industries get severely impacted. If you look at tourism, if you look at restaurant, the dining industry is almost so okay, so that is the worst part. And for my clients, I know them best. And let's say for education, what is my top? Education sector, actually the damage is not that obvious until now, but gradually we are quite actually passive, not that optimistic about the future, because of the lockdown, so students is not allowed to be travel, or at least they are not that willing to travel. So even university funded by the government, they still need the tuition fee. So that if they don't have the students, it's a huge problem. Okay, so of course, university also provide a lot of alternative to when they confront the challenge, they have the alternative. They use Zoom, they use what I introduced, the Chinese version webinar. They use a lot of functions, but this actually, I don't want to say too, I don't want to applaud for those, because it's not solve the problem. Say for example, for EMBA students, okay, they are in their they are higher management. They attend the course, they apply the program not for knowledge only, but they are more for network, more for know the local things, to have networking, so on and so forth. So that even you can beam all the knowledge to them, you cannot beam the rest to them. So if you look at the real case, it's like they even refuse to do the webinar, to do the Zoom lecture. And this not only happened for EMBA, this happened for MBA, this happened for executive education, this happened for a lot of group, except the bachelor guys, the undergrad students, because they needed a degree, so they have no choice. So in short, it's like okay, we see a lot of challenge right now, and we see a lot of change right now. And if you see in the long run, some part of the challenge is still not there. It's going to be surfaced later, and we definitely will have some solutions, but we will keep on tracking on that. So the challenge in total is very, very big.
Okay. Yeah, Xiao. So yeah, obviously a lot of sectors in industry have been impacted. Tourism, hospitality, education, retail. So when time is tough and we have so many people which are unable to spend, what do the clients do? Do they hold on, cut their budget, and just say, okay, forget about WeChat for the next 6 months, because even if we promote it, nobody's going to buy it. What has been happening? What have you observed?
Yeah, I can chip in for that one. So we experienced that actually there are exactly two different kinds of people. One is experienced investors or experienced entrepreneur. The other one is not experienced entrepreneur, like who's in the corporate world for quite a long time. And then the experienced entrepreneur, they are doubling up. Like buying the franchise, and then they're doubling up marketing, because we know that like 30% of the time of the world is in recession. So it doesn't matter whatever you start a business, it's a very good chance your business is gonna hit a recession anyways. And then for now, the advantage of starting a business, you have four. Number one, your competitors are less. And then number two is easy to find talent, because we all know as a business owner how hard to find a suitable person to work in your company. Like you want to headhunting someone is difficult. Like sometimes people don't even looking for money. And then number three is it's very easy to find the resources, because everywhere is cheap. You can buy in bulk as much as you want. And then number four is the loan is extremely cheap. Like the interest is almost nothing. And then the government is begging you to get the loan. The process is like super crazy fast, and you just have a few sign up. And so we see that example for the company I work for, the whole F45 globally, we are cutting down the marketing budget because the studios are closed. Why on us? We are still promoting for trials, right? But we doubling up or tripling up or 10 times up the budget in China because we know China will be the first one come out of it. And then that's the great thing we announced to the rest of the world. We are coming out bigger and stronger. And then that would that will encourage the rest of the Western world that see, hey, we've been through this. And then the first week when we back to up running normal studios in F45, 75% people come back to the studio. Okay. On the first week, and then by second week it's 90%. So that is a great storytelling for the rest of the community that we can come out bigger and stronger. Then that's the time we spend more budget on TikTok and WeChat marketing.
Okay, so again, if you have any questions, don't be shy, go ahead. I know you guys enjoy watching us talking, but you can also ask questions. My next question for you guys, there's been an ongoing, I would say complaint about WeChat in general being too expensive, too complicated to do. A lot of marketers and advertisers have been struggling, with their ROI, with the returns they're getting on their campaigns. It's something we hear quite often. And this is why a number of marketers have switched to other platforms trying to find better ROI. Do you feel that now that Tencent is now pushing channel, live streaming, things are getting even more complicated at some point because you need to worry about all those new features and bring all those new features into your current account and your current following base. Do you think that Tencent is now really addressing that? And is it going to be easier and cheaper and better for marketers moving forward? Or is it going to be the same? It's going to be a challenging platform to work with? Okay.
Wow, that's a very great question. So I think Brian says already, no matter enter WeChat or not, Douyin, which channel, is the metrics, right? Is the measurement metrics about the the KPI, your ROI. So my feeling is that no matter which channel you choose, you encounter the same problem, right? You always push for the ROI. But for WeChat, how does it get so successful with that capturing of so high, screen time, the high and 1.1 billion database? I think that is the all-in-one functions make it become so successful. So so that's, you might say that there's setbacks or pros and cons. When the pros is that when this platform enables so many functions, not only about the media channel, you don't digest not only content you digest there, but you can do lots of things there. So that's why it becomes so important. So such a good channel to reach out to the audiences, right? But at the same time, for those new launch channels, channel the video function, will it be successful? Will it be go viral? Is really a question that Tencent needs to face, because about the interface, how to keep that multiple functions in the same app, but at the same time to keep it simple. Because I think one of the questions here we always when we think about with the channels is the moments. So we have moments, and then we have channels. So the kind of JBK, you can post your content on channels, but also on the moments, right? So I think that's gonna be a decision point that the Tencent team needs to make of, because obviously they're trying to do channels because that enables strangers to watch your content, and then it's somehow get that algorithm, how the Douyin videos get viral. But at the same time, it needs to solve which direction are you going, how are you trying to position yourself. So it's
okay, what's your answer? Is it going to be easier, or is it going to be more difficult for marketers to use WeChat?
I think that will be more more difficult to catch up, because it's changing so fast. I see lots of there's lots of new ways how marketers using WeChat now. With the group chats, everything is not just in the old days you have the official account and then that's where it's starting. That's never enough for nowadays. So it's harder for marketers to really catch up.
Okay, so yeah, again, Jia, what's your view on this? Again, Tencent is adding all those new features. WeChat is already a complex app. It's a super app, right? So it has so many features, and so it's going to be, it's going to be a life of marketers who are, more difficult using WeChat.
Yeah, I guess Max, you want us to be concise and precise, so I can make it short. I can sense that. It's not. My answer, yes, it's going to be much more complicated and sophisticated, and the entry level is much more higher. I'm doing this, so I don't want to exaggerate too much about how it's easy and you can use it as a magic tool to generate revenue instantaneously as long as you do it and don't miss. I don't want to do this because it doesn't work. Okay, so my suggestion is like you need to have a good. I suggest you to have a good agent first. Okay, so previously I give you data. Okay, I give you data. Previously, to get a lease for EMBA students, okay, one lease was spent around 3,000 CNY before we do. And after we do the WeChat account, this number decreased to 800. And after we do the WeChat Moments ads, at first, the cost per lease in average was 1,500. But after 2 years, for the last intake, okay, last batch of intake just ended in March, was 283 CNY per lease. Okay, 283 CNY per lease. And the tuition fee is 700,000 CNY. So you can see the difference. Okay. So you need to have a good agent to facilitate this. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Xiao, what's your view?
Yeah, so I think for all of us here, the more complicated it becomes, it's better business for us, to be very honest. Like Facebook, anybody can register a credit card, they can do campaign or whatever. But for WeChat, it's just so niche, it's just so Chinese, people don't understand. That's where we get the opportunities out there. Okay, Facebook is having more and more functions out there as well. Why people don't say that, oh, they have more functions that get more complicated? Because people have been using it, and it's easy to be understood by everybody else. And then another thing is everybody starts from subscriber 1. So nobody can learn how to swim if you don't get your feet wet, if you don't get into the swimming pool. So people need to learn one thing is be patient. If the online course it says like $3,000, I teach you how to do viral content creation, that is rubbish, to be honest. Like how you know that content can be viral, it's just continuously put out 10,000 out there, maybe one will be viral out there. But if you have, as Jia said, if we have a good agent, we have done that 10,000 for you, and we give you the data, and then we compare it for you. We do A/B testing for you, so then that will cut your learning curve a lot. And then another thing about WeChat is, yes, you think, yeah, it's difficult to understand, there's too many functions or whatever, but if you want a Chinese business out there, it doesn't matter you're in Singapore, in Thailand, and Cambodia, you have to use WeChat. You just have no other choice out there. Think about it. If you don't use WeChat, what else can you use? So this is the learning curve you're gonna have to learn anyway. So like 10 years ago, I refused to get on Facebook. I think it's for teenagers. What's the point of doing that? We're all on it now. So same thing for WeChat, another 3 to 5 years for globally, in my opinion. Same as TikTok. I refused to get on TikTok because I said that's my daughter's age stuff. It's not for me. I don't want to dance like teenagers. But when I realized we can do the advertise, I was like, okay, that is a way I want to crack into it.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, and then I think Jia, you mentioned, in your presentation about, the ecosystem, WeChat. Obviously, I mean, WeChat has so much potential in Southeast Asia. It can do, it can get so much stronger because of that ecosystem, the payment features, but it's lacking in some countries, right? I mean, again, for those who did not attend your session, do you feel that Tencent is going to be addressing that ecosystem and really rolling this out in places like Singapore and Malaysia and Thailand or Cambodia, where obviously there's a huge market potential for WeChat? Just unmute yourself, Jia. You're unmuted.
Okay, I unmute myself. Okay, so I give you a conclusion first. It's like I don't foresee same prosperous environment of WeChat or in overseas compared to China. Okay, it won't be as successful as in China because the fundamentals are different. Okay, I give you an example that you can understand. I mean, for the audience can understand easily. It's like when I in the past 15 years I was in Singapore. I always feel very puzzled why we have the called tourism, festival. People run in the Marina Bay Sands, and there's around 100 of tour agents there, and people go for there, and there's a lot of promotions, and for the credit cards, for a lot of things. Okay, people keep on going there, and why there's still very prosperous for tourism agent industry in Singapore. If you go to the Chinatown, you have a lot of agents, but why it's not in China? Okay, and this question actually arises, even much, it's around 15 years ago when I first in MIT. Okay, I go to the elevator, the lift, and I found it's very, fearing. It's just like a go. It's very, So I said, okay, this is MIT, the most advanced things, university in the world. Why we have such kind of a lift? The reason is because they were very advanced. Okay, and that's why they were in their 2.0, 3.0. But China didn't follow in this era. But China still overpassed, become 4.0. But 3.0 can serve the purpose, okay? So that they cannot, from 3.0 to 4.0. Maybe they can later on go to 5.0 or 6.0, but not 4.0. And this explains why we don't have, mobile payment, because we have credit card system very healthy here, not in China, okay? That's why China have mobile payment. So this explains the fundamentals are different. Okay, so this is part of the answer. The other part of my answer is like Tencent is trying to not to do a mass. Okay, just like what I said, they are looking for verticals. Tourism, luxury products. This is based on the Chinese or overseas tourism, the outbound tourism to different countries. So they spend a lot. That's why this is 2 pillars. And then the next pillar is education sector, and that's why they look for me, and we get a collaboration. Dedicated on education sector. So this become a huge market. And what is the fourth, the fifth? We don't know yet. I believe definitely there's a lot. Yeah, but it's not not an overall omni occupation of WeChat. Yeah.
Xiao, you're dealing with clients with which are also in Thailand and those countries. Do you think that Tencent is growing, WeChat is gaining more traction in those countries? And I think beyond, again, with Chinese travelers, right?
Yeah, Max, it's a very good point that we just now in my comments after my talk, there's lots of questions about Xiao, do you think WeChat marketing would work in Singapore or not? And so I would like to address that if I have a chance to. So the thing is, I came to Singapore when I was 17 years old. And when I came here, the population in Singapore was 3 million. And then now the population is 5.9. It's almost 6 million. So out of that 3 million, we know that 75% has to be Chinese race, and then 10% is Malay, 10% is Indian, and all of that. We are like a different racial nationality. So think about out of that 3 million, 75% are Chinese, and Singaporean is not giving enough birth rate. The birth rate is low, like 1 point something in Singapore. Where are they from? They're like myself. We like I and Ja, we came here, study, and then we love this country, and then we decided to live here forever and ever. So these kind of people like ourselves, when we came, our user habit will not change. We still will not log into Facebook or Instagram much often, and we will spend 4 or 5 hours on WeChat every day. So this is the almost 2 million target audience in Singapore. Do you want their business or not?
Yeah,
so if you do want their business, you're gonna have to use WeChat. And
Singapore is again a very special market, okay, for that.
Yeah.
What about the other countries?
Cambodia.
What about Malaysia? What about Thailand? What about Cambodia?
So let's talk about Cambodia. The thing is, every week, of course, before COVID, we have about 500 planes between China and Cambodia. And then all the fancy hotels and restaurants are occupied by Chinese. If you do not, if your restaurant or fancy hotel does not exist on WeChat, how on earth the China tourist is able to find you. So that is a huge potential in the future. And also for Thailand, about tourists or for the local Thai people who are using WeChat, we can, someone asked me in the comment, can we do multi-language? Yes, definitely we should do that. English, Chinese in one article. So that would entertain to all the audience when we targeting Southeast Asia. Or if let's say Indonesia, like Chinese and Indonesian, Chinese and English, something like that, but not 3 languages, that the article would become too dreadful and then nobody wants to read it then.
One of the speakers previously talked about the importance of the content, what you're sharing on WeChat. And, I want to talk briefly about this. Obviously a lot of topics have been related to the pandemic the last few months, but I think people want to move forward. They want to be post-COVID. They want to look towards the future and have, a more positive, outcome about this thing. What would be the topics you think resonate well with WeChat users right now? What kind of topic you need to focus on to get that attention that marketers are all complaining about not getting enough? So what would be the hot things or, the burning topics that will get people to actually watch your account, and trigger comments and, and buy your things?
Sorry, can I start? Because I am in the WeChat marketing and fitness industry. So the burning desire for people now is they realize medicine and hospital will never save their life. If you don't keep out your immunity system up, you are, there's no way you can, you cannot stay healthy, and then just no way to get out of all of this. So we can see the revenge spending of fitness sector, and then like nutrition, and then like protein shake, all of that is doubling up and tripling up, like massage guns or whatever, their sales is tripled within the last 3 months. And then people taking care of themselves a lot more than before. So that was a topic, I think.
Anything related to well-being, staying healthy will work quite well with people. Ja, what's your view on this?
My suggestion is we need to have 2 things in mind. The first is reach. The second is localization. Okay, that is very important. I see a lot of accounts for the foreign, in outside China. Okay, they do their WeChat account in a very Western way. Okay, they just directly translate into Chinese. Okay, this is one part. And I see a lot of other accounts, they do it just like they are native in China. It's a foreign account, but everything content is really China style. Okay, so for the both, I not agree on that. Okay, I give you an example. For INSEAD, who is the best business school over the world, and MBA is #1. They have an INSEAD knowledge. Okay, they describe all the things and it's quite in depth. And in the first 1 or 2 years, they directly translate the INSEAD knowledge to Chinese, and the views and the reads, is very few. Okay, people don't understand because, for example, they introduced the e-reading in Europe, and all the brands, all the things, I never heard about it. Not to speak of people from mainland China. So there's no, coherent among each other. So we need to bring it and localize it while still keep the original state, the taste, the academic taste, because the institution is the #1 in the business education. You need to keep that taste. Okay, don't lose your taste to cater for your audience. Well, you need to have something in. Okay, so later on we co-author something that in Harvard Business Review, and we can also input based on what we understand about the China audience, so that they have their China initiative, and we are also the partner of that, to help them. Yeah.
So localization is important. Yeah. Okay. Give me some topics you think are really hot and interesting right now.
I think it depends, right? So like for WeChat account, there's like 2 types, right? We have consumer facing accounts. We have more that's like B2B or more like corporate facing accounts. So I think that for consumers, that is about the topic hijacking, what's on trend, what's people talking about really locally, your target audience are talking about. So For example, like recently in China, everyone's talking about 地摊经济. So it's like the street vendors, because of the new policies that they're rolling out, and then they encourage the street market. So I see that lots of the content on WeChat now is around, right? We have different brands tapping into that topic. So it's kind of like how that's working for consumer needs to be timely, needs to be relevant to what people is talking about. But in terms of corporate facing or B2B content, I think that's very much is also timely, but they're on another point, right? Say for example, Robert Rotters is a recruitment agency, our client. So the content nowadays focus very much on the post-COVID-19 about, you know, like what's the recruitment skill that people looking for, that thought leadership pieces, but it's also having that insights, but that's more COVID relevant. So what's the soft skill that, you know, like in that leadership that you're looking for? I mean, for previously that was about business continuity, right?
Yes.
So I think it's all about how it need to be in the market, needs to be relevant to and timely on trend. At the same time, of course, like to link back to your content and how you have that mix to, you know, like to draw the eyeballs, but at the same time you deliver the message and messaging, right?
Okay. Do you have a way to track what are the hot topics on WeChat? Is there like I know that you have those tools on Facebook and Twitter and Google as well, but is it possible to actually track it on WeChat?
So we have like okay, so like we were a bit like tactical in terms of like tracking the trending topics on WeChat. We usually will, there's like a list of accounts that we follow that we because we know that like industry benchmarks, so we know this list of accounts will let us know what's happening, what's on trend. But we also, I mean, like the what's happening in the market, like is kind of like a parallel, right? So like what's trending on top WeChat will actually, the people talk about it on Weibo and Douyin as well. So
okay.
We track the hashtags on Weibo and Douyin, but we, you know, like we bring back the content to WeChat.
Okay, so there's no tracking tool to see the trending topics on WeChat, for example. It doesn't exist, right?
Yeah, but well, at some point there's not like an open end, not something that the and hashtags that you follow.
Tencent probably knows it, but you guys
like launch a new function, yeah. So search, right? They're trying to optimize for search.
Okay, all right. So I want to wrap up again with, you know, what would be your advice to, you know, marketers again who want to? Many of them have been listening to this event. You know, they obviously understand the importance of WeChat marketing. What would be your advice for them? Where should they go from now, and where should they be focusing on? I know that Kate talked a lot about channel and live streaming, but what's your point? You know, your point of view, Xiao, Jia, what would be the area where marketers today should focus on WeChat marketing for the second part of the year, 2020?
Okay, I can start, no problem. I think consistency to start with. This is just saying for any kind of social media platform. You see, like on YouTube, you see people have like each video, they have 10,000, 20,000 views or whatever. Then say, oh, wow, I want to be like that. But think about it, they started posting videos consistently 10 years ago, but you didn't. So consistency is the key. And then number two is I would suggest, from our experience, I would totally suggest the WeChat marketers do not like blast out in your official accounts as an article look like this, and then one big poster, and then that's it, and then just blast it out. And then that would destroy your subscribers. You know, think about it. These subscribers, you spend money to get their attention, and then begging them to subscribe you, and then you just push them away by doing all of this. So be careful. Don't the consistency, like at least once a week you have to send an article, and then not a shitty article. It has to be something you know, easy to read, or We had a lot of clients that we says, oh, I have a promotion this week. Can we make it huge red and then bold and all that? No, we have to have some class for the article. You cannot just like, it's not a poster out there. That's it. And then number two, start doing it. You know, if you don't start doing it, you will never do your own A/B testing ever. The chance of you success is 0, but by doing it, at least your successful chance is 50%. That's all.
Okay. So no quick wins and focus on quality. Okay.
Yeah, you can't get big facts by watching other people do push-ups.
Okay.
Yeah.
There is a question from Danny. Thank you very much, Danny, for finally asking a question. So he's asking, is there any dashboards to maybe monitor, you know, the number of marketing hits or the yields that you're getting from a campaign? How do you quantify maybe the campaign results on WeChat? I mean, other than, just the number of hits of impressions. Is there any way to quantify this? Anybody would like to take it?
From the advertisement back end, you do have the full set of what we call BI. Like you can visualize your data, so that you can track your conversion ratio and during what time, so on and so forth. It's quite a generic and quite similar as the rest of the tool. So
when you spend 1,000, the system will tell you, okay, you got 5,000 out of it. I mean, can you actually look at your ROI as well or not?
It has different measure to define your ROI. So what we normally use is about because we for most of the clients in Singapore, they still don't use the payment function that frequent. So they want to track
the sales,
followers and the leads, so that we use let's say the leads as a measure data. Yeah. So you can see that.
We had a client who's in the restaurant business. So what we did was like, you can spend $10 to buy $50 coupon. And then when at the bottom of this article, that's another way we measure how successful, how many coupons we have sold for this. And then it's just different industry is so different. Like for a franchise sales, the sales period could last all the way to 12 months. So who knows? But if it's a restaurant like $1 a chicken, then it's very easy to measure. And yeah.
Okay, I mean, in Shanghai, obviously, everybody's using WeChat Pay. So can you actually, look at your client straight in the face and say, listen, you spend 100,000 and then 3 months later, you guys actually generated 500,000. So is it possible? Can you actually do this now using WeChat?
Okay, so Dr. Yin just said that we have like a basic dashboard, like BI. We have like the basic data that that's available on the backstage. But nowadays, like for many brands, say for example, that's integrated with retail and like the CRM system actually has a more like advanced or like a customized, like a system that inbuilt like integrated with WeChat. So say like just like Clement's example of that coffee shop integration. So I think like depending on the system that you use, there might be, well, we have clients with using the customized dashboards that you can have, like you can get more insights, the customer's insight that you look for the dashboard. So that's something technically can do, but like well, yeah, we can see. I mean, like it's very basic, straightforward. Nowadays in China, lots of the innovations roll out. We see, like we can track back with the spend at the same time to see how many sales, what's revenue that driven by, like the CRM system or on WeChat Pay or on live streaming even. Like that's all trackable. And then in terms of that dashboard, just this what you're looking for. Do you want to customize it? So, but that's
okay. I mean, it's very practical. Let's say you spend 1 million RMB on a campaign on one product. Can you actually go back to your client for, a month or 2 months later, and on that specific campaign, you spend 1 million RMB, you generated 5 million RMB. Is it possible? Can you actually, you as a marketer, prove it? Can you prove the ROI?
Yes, we did. Yeah, we Yeah, we do have. I mean, like that's very much okay. So I think like we do have cases that that come back with a very like positive, very like ROI that client satisfies me. But I also okay. So emergent thing about it. So it's also about every brand is so different, right? What points what life cycle their business are in, and then
I
what.
understand. I understand, but again, I want to be very practical. I think this is what people are expecting, right, from WeChat.
Yeah, real life examples can be done. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 9 out of 10 clients ask the exact same question as Max asked. If I spend $10, can I get my $100 back? And then the thing is, I tell you a real case study in Singapore. We actually helped the restaurant generate a lot of leads, and then there are tons of people went to their restaurant, but they don't have enough food providing, and then they don't have enough waitress, and then it's a bad advertise. So end of the day, and I was like, we when we start doing the advertising, we are married. We both have to work on it. If you don't do it well, and then all your promotion is shitty, like nobody wants it, and then you're blaming me not getting this ROI for you back.
Of course,
It cannot. So we don't promise unless we that sure it can. It's a great promotion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Xiao, your final tip. Okay, we're going to be closing on this discussion. What would be your final tip for people moving forward next 6 months of 2020? Where should people pay attention on WeChat marketing?
And pay attention on accuracy. It's like you cannot try an error. Definitely, you need to try an error, but you need to try and with a concrete and strategic plan to try and error and make it accurate. And how to define accurate? You need to have a private traffic. From WeChat advertisement is all public traffic. You need to find a way that to have your private traffic. And in the next era is attract public traffic is very important. But how to convert them into private traffic and how to retain your private traffic is very important. Yeah.
It's key. Okay. All right. Kay, your final tip?
I think like two things. Like first thing is to choose or like select customize your right strategy, your right tactics. So we talk about so many items, like with the content or private traffic, group chat, or live streaming. So each sector, each industry is so different, right? So go to find out the right metrics for your WeChat strategy, and then the second thing is stay focused and work it out. Just like Xiao has mentioned about the quality content is so important. So like for nowadays for the subscription account, they already WeChat is trying to push the quality content out there. So I think that like find your right metrics, stay focused on your strategy.
Okay, you give me two. Okay, that's great. Thank you very much. All right, excellent. Thank you very much. Thanks again, Xiao, Jia, and Kay for attending this discussion. We didn't get a lot of questions, but it's okay. We had a good talk anyway. So we'll do it again next time. Thank you guys for again attending the WeChat Marketing Asia. We'll do this again further on. One day I will come back to Singapore. I promise you, you will see me again in Singapore when we are able to travel, and we'll organize again this WeChat Marketing Conference, which we've done in the past. So thank you very much. Have a great weekend ahead. Stay safe, of course. It's not over yet, especially in places like Singapore. So stay safe. Be careful, and we'll see you next time for our next event. Okay, thank you.
Sure. See you guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.